Okay, I'm gonna use this because I don't want to annoy my neighbors because I'm camping and it's pretty quiet, but this is the first Blaine project. We're gonna watch a bunch of scary movies in the woods. Got my TV set up, Blu-ray player. I'm gonna start with the one movie that I have that I haven't seen, or that I have seen rather, is the Blair Witch Project, which seems appropriate. I do have a palate cleanser in case I get too scared over the garden wall. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, Blair Witch is done. It was a lot spookier than I remembered. Maybe the atmosphere. It's really dark. It's only 7, so that's pretty good. We are probably gonna be doing scary stories to tell in the dark. I'll do that next after I do some dishes. Okay, I'm gonna do some dishes real quick before heading back out. It is pretty cold out there, 48 degrees, so it's a little chillier than I was expecting. One movie down, Blair Witch. Hadn't seen it in a few years. I ended up picking it up for $5. We're gonna do scary stories to tell in the dark next, which I have not seen, and we'll see how many we watch tonight. Okay, brief update. I have moved inside because I'm so cold and the space heater inside wasn't running. But I just finished Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Is that what it is? Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I think is what it is. I was alright. Initial reactions. It's kind of cool to get a PG-13 horror movie. They seem to be few and far between and not always winners. This one was alright. I enjoyed it well enough. It was spooky for what it was. You know what? We're going to amp it up just a little bit. Blair Witch was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. Really spooky out here. This one I don't know much about, but we are going to be doing The Coffee Table. I know that it is not in English, and it is recommended on Reddit quite a bit. It's supposed to be scary and a very dark comedy. Extremely dark. Movie number 3. It is 9:19 p.m. Really cold outside. But let's start movie number 3. I made a little stand so I can show off what movie I'm watching. It is just me, but that's fine. Oh, I did not like that. That was, I mean, so the Coffee Table is essentially the Scott's Tots of horror. It is my anxiety personified on screen, and I didn't like that very much. And it's pretty late, but I think I'm going to try to watch one more before I head to bed. We'll see if I can stay awake. 96 minutes. Maybe we'll watch Severance next. Made it through the night. Just finished up with Severance. Gonna make some coffee, get some breakfast going, and then keep watching outside. About 4 more movies to go. I was going to do this later, but let's do it now. I'm not giving great synopsises for the movies that I watched, so I'll try to do a better job of that. First movie I watched was The Blair Witch Project. This is sort of the granddaddy of found footage horror movies, and I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a good handful of found footage horror movies, and this one still stands out as one of the best and most effective to me. If you enjoy horror movies only for the gore or the like really crazy looking creatures or whatever, this isn't going to be for you. The thing about this one is it felt authentic. Like when it came out, people questioned and argued whether or not the events of this movie were real. And watching it, there is nothing in it that stands out as an impossibility, while also remaining very supernatural. After that, I watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is it's borderline an anthology. There's multiple storylines, but all connected to the same group of people. Based on a book that I wasn't allowed to read in middle school because it was too freaky. I went with this one because it's PG-13. I figured it'd be safe, and I was watching it outside, and I don't want to broadcast some of these more extreme movies to the rest of the campground. I've got a better setup now, so I think it's sort of isolated a little bit. It's more just facing the trailer. I like it when we get better than okay PG-13 horror movies, because I think it's a fun genre. I think there's a lot of interesting discussions around the genre, and being able to start those discussions pre-R rating, I think is pretty cool. And so this is all right. I mean, I liked it better than I expected. It was a spooky, sort of older kids movie. The coffee table, I hated. I appreciate it for what it was. I hated this stupid movie. Let's start with the good. Very well acted. Very well edited. Very emotional. It was an emotional ride. I couldn't help but thinking of The Office when watching this, and not because any part of this is really funny. I mean, it's labeled as a black comedy, and really a very, very dark comedy. But the ideas in this, like the feelings that I had were equal parts disgust and dread and uncomfortableness. This is a very uncomfortable movie, and it spoke directly to my own personal anxieties. So the catalyst, I'm not going to spoil it in case you watch it. The catalyst in this movie, it was expected. Like for me, going into this with the anxieties that I have, I was like, shoot, this is probably going to be exactly the type of stuff that I worry about, and it was. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. So the coffee table, if you want to be real uncomfortable, the last one I started last night, finished this morning, was Severance. It was supposed to be a horror comedy. Someone said it was a mix of The Office, oddly enough, and The Hills Have Eyes. It was fine. I mean, the premise in this one was that there's a group of employees that are going on a team building excursion out in the woods somewhere in Europe. And they are a defense company, and they start getting picked off one by one. Maybe it's the mid-2000s humor. It didn't really land with me. There were one or two jokes that were really funny. None of the characters were really that likable, but not detestable enough to where I was like rooting for the person that was attacking them. It was middle of the ground. There were some jokes that landed pretty well. But if I ever had a hankering for watching sort of a workplace retreat slasher, I guess, I'd watch The Conference on Netflix, which leads me to Arcadian. I know very little about this other than it has Nicolas Cage and some weird looking monsters at some point. This was a late entry on my list, and it's only because I saw the creatures in a TikTok and they kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I'm all about creature design in movies that is uncomfortable, because it is difficult to get an effective spooky creature in horror movies. Alright, back outside of the new setup. Gonna start Arcadian. The sun might be a problem. Okay, so I finished Arcadian, and it is your standard fare monster movie, a la 28 Days Later or A Quiet Place. And it suffered from all the same tropes, but the monster design was fun, and the performances were convincing, and I enjoyed it. So we're moving on to In a Violent Nature next. I'll probably have lunch too. Okay, so just finished up In a Violent Nature. It was, when it wasn't showing you the most brutal kills I've seen in a while in a slasher movie, it was very relaxing. As extremely violent as it is, the majority of it is you're watching a guy walk through the woods, which is very reminiscent of what I'm doing right now. But aspect ratio was not widescreen, which was strange for a new movie. So I think it was trying to feel almost, and it really did feel kind of like a Friday the 13th Halloween type thing. So it harkened back to the 80s slasher, supernatural killer type thing, while subverting a lot of the tropes. And so now we're going to go watch Malignant, and it is getting real cold outside again. Okay, so finished up Malignant. It's pretty good. Swung for the fences with some stuff. It was good. Good mix of gory action, horror. Pretty fun. But I'm going to have a final summary when I get back home on everything, when I get some more time to think about everything. But that's it for now.